Now, we also have to realize the fact that they played very, very similar, you guys, tells me one thing. One, again, Russell Wilson played the Chargers literally just a few weeks ago. Like, this isn't a game that happened early on in the season. So Russell Wilson should have already had worked up this connection with a lot of other players, which is where you're like, he should have looked a lot better compared to Jarrett Stidham, who's obviously coming in 1 week of being the starter. They don't have Courtland Sutton out there, which was a huge blow to that offense. Obviously, wide receiver number 1 right there. So the fact that they looked the same, it doesn't help Russell Wilson's case. And I do want to give credit to Russell Wilson because the way he handled being benched was impressive. He was out there high-fiving guys as they were coming off of the sidelines. He was out there signing autographs with the fans, taking selfies with them. He was out there helping Jarrett Stidham as much as he could. Now, I did find it very interesting, and I'm very curious to hear from a lot of other people on this. He was still the captain, which I appreciate. He very much has those leadership qualities. But to have them go out there, everyone was kind of like, what's happening here? And that one kind of caught me just a little bit off guard. I would have thought, Jarrett Stidham would have gone out there being QB number 1. And when you're QB number 1, you're really the leader of the team. So that was a little weird to me, but maybe that was just one of those things where they were like, you know what? We're not going to fight as many battles if we don't need to. He's still a captain. We're going to put him out there. And there was so much respect for him in the locker room too after the win on Sunday. You could just tell everybody that was asked about handling the situation said both good things about both Jarrett Stidham and the way he's handled everything and the way Russell Wilson has. But I did want to give credit and give roses where roses are due because Russell Wilson really did. Every single time I looked down there, he was clapping for the offense and he just looked good. He wasn't moping on the sidelines, which he easily could have done. And you kind of have to appreciate that. Now, the fact that he had his helmet on for a majority of the game, definitely interesting, but you know what? We all have our quirks. We all like to do our things. We all do exactly what we do every single game day. So that we can move on from. But it was definitely interesting. And the numbers are just, it's fascinating, you guys. So let's dive into Wilson versus the Chargers. I wanted to list out all of the plays because I feel like that's where a lot of people are kind of diving into a lot of certain things. Some people are like, oh, well, Jarrett Stidham had one big pass to little Jordan Humphrey, and that was it. Well, that was the same thing for Russell Wilson. He had a deep pass to Courtland Sutton for 46 yards a couple weeks ago when they played the Chargers. We saw that exact same thing with the deep pass to Lil Jordan Humphreys for 54 yards. Essentially, as you're going down the list, so many of these things are looking the exact same. But there are certain areas where it was really bad. There's a lot of 3-and-outs, which are bad. You have the interception for Russell Wilson against the Chargers. You're seeing some punts, but you're seeing more field goals. It's fascinating, and I think a lot of people are getting kind of caught up on the fact that Russ was able to put big touchdown numbers up in the fourth quarter, where here's the thing. He was mediocre, average at best from quarters 1 through 3, and then he could come in and save the day. When you don't want a quarterback that has to come in and save the day, you want a quarterback who is able to do a complete game. And I think we can all agree, and you let me know in the comments, Russell Wilson this season was an average quarterback at best. And then you look at the difference between these two guys and how they are getting paid, and they should not even have relatively close numbers at all. And I think that's where a lot of people are definitely kind of chiming in and being like, yeah, if Jarrett Stidham can do it for $5 million a year, then Russell Wilson should be doing much, much better with the crazy amount of money he's getting.